Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it's the 29th of March at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. But if you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know we are over in the chat room. You can find it by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number one, number two, radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And of course, we're live streaming as well. And you can find the live stream by heading stream. I think I said string. You can find the stream by heading over to Facebook, Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic, or YouTube Domestic Mystic, and watch the show rather than listen to it if you would rather. So, I mean, I hope if you're watching, you listen too, but whatever. I do hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope the sun is shining where you are. I hope this spring is springing, and that there's some optimism on the horizon. I hope. I want to say hi to Lillian, Jessica, Deb, Maya, Renee, Tiffany, Norella. Renee, I'm so happy. She said she got her candle from my Etsy store and it smells amazing. I'm so happy. So I'm going to share that with you because, yeah, we do have a few left. And we're in the process of making more, of course. But I'm going to show you. These are the new candles in my store. This one's in its bag, but they are our enchanted hidden candles. And they are full of aura quartz. So as you burn them down, they come with this cool little set of bamboo tweezers. You can pick through them and pick out the crystals as they appear. And they're just really fun. And they do smell phenomenal. I handpicked all of the scents. And yeah, I'm with you, Renee. I totally, pardon me, agree. Renee, I think, bought the purple one, and I'm out of stock on purple, so you won't be able to get it for now. But this is the teal one, and it is also known as the Gossamer Mist. Anyway, so these are super fun if you have been wanting to treat yourself, or if you need a gift for a cool friend. These would be awesome. So I'll put a link in my Etsy store in the chat room. But you can also find it just by heading over to Etsy and looking for Joyful Goddess Designs. That's the name of my store. So easy enough to find either way. For some reason, I've seen a real uptick lately in people ordering my lotus flowers, the orgonite lotus flowers. I've made a ton of those lately, which is great. I love making them. They're fun. They are so cool. But anyway, I'm not sure why. It's funny how things kind of go in a run. I probably didn't do any of those for 6 months, and now I've done several sets recently for Etsy and elsewhere. So I don't know why, but either way, we'll take it. They are pretty cool. Okay. See, multitasking. All I need is a link. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, back on track. I definitely can do some readings today, so let's plan on that. We're going to do a fair amount of vibrational therapy too. We're going to do some drumming and we are going to do some singing bowls. I just feel like we all really need it. Is it cold here? I am bundled up. I'm just, no, it's not cold here. It's actually beautiful. It's in the 50s. Well, for us this time of year, it's beautiful. And we were in Montana this weekend for Mars's home season opener. And oh my God, you guys, it was beyond fun. Beyond fun. To hear the announcer like say her name, and next up to bat from Rexburg, Idaho, left or center fielder or left fielder or wherever they had her, uh, Mariana Weaver. Wow. Yeah, I had sunglasses on. That's right. I had those mom tears going. But no, I've just been like really unmotivated today. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. I have fallen way down the rabbit hole. You guys, someone is going to have to save me from myself. Wordle. Are you guys doing the Wordle? If you're not, maybe don't start. But if you are, or if you're not, I'll give you a link. Uh, so the Wordle is, and some people have been posting their Wordle on Facebook. I haven't done that, which is fine. But I have been doing the Wordle every day, however, and my daughter's got me into this. So it's a 5-letter word, and you get 6 tries. And you basically just type in a word, and it'll start showing you if you are getting any of the letters right. And then it's a word puzzle. So, okay, so I usually start with the word there, THEIR, because then I will know. So if you type in your word and the whole thing stays like gray, then that means that none of the letters are correct for the word of the day. If any of them turn yellow, it means the letter is in the word, but it's not in the correct place. If the letter turns green, it is the correct letter in the correct place. Does that make sense? So then you like put in another word. So I use there first and then candy usually because they don't have any of the same letters, and that gives me 10 letters. So then I know if it has any of those things in it, and then I kind of start building my word from there. It's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's very clear, you know. Yeah, common letters. Choose words with pretty common letters for your first and second guess, and then you can kind of start filling them in. One of the challenges is if the letter appears more than once in the Wordle, they don't tell you that. And so a couple of days ago, the word was shall, and I had SHAL forever. I almost didn't get the Wordle that day because 6 tries and you're out, because it just did not click in my brain forever that I could use another L, which you can do, but anyway, whatever. So long, ridiculous explanation, but I fell down the rabbit hole. So then my daughter told me, because with Wordle, like the New York Times Wordle that you do once a day, that's it, once a day, and you're done. But my daughter told me that there is a few different apps that are like Wordle where you can practice said game. So now I was playing that, and yeah. So that's why I'm all bundled up and my hair looks like this. Because I was wordling all morning. I know. It's bananas, but it's fun. And bananas would never fit. That's not a 5-letter word, but it's okay. It's whatever. And so now my girls and my niece and I, we all do the Wordle every day. And then you can share it. So you share it with each other, but it doesn't tell you what the word is because everybody has the same word, so you can brag about how many times it took you to figure it out. But yeah. 2 days ago, the word was nymph. And one of my Facebook friends had that in two guesses. Two. Two. How? How did she know nymph in 2 guesses? I don't know. I got it, but it took me way more than 2 guesses. Anyway, enough about that. What are you all drinking? It's Constant Comment for me this morning. Constant Comment is easily in my top 3 favorite teas. I'm going to say Earl Grey because I love an awesome London fog, Constant Comment, and chai. They're all up there. And a tea that has roses in it. I really love the tea that has rosebuds in it. But and Constant Comment was my mom's favorite tea. So of course I drink it because she loved it, and it tastes amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. But it's her tea, you know? So that's what I'm sipping on this morning. I promise it's only tea. Anyway, okay. Well, I do want to cover a fair amount of ground today. So maybe let's go ahead and take a look at Luminous. I am starting to get so excited for my puppies that I can hardly even function. Yeah, really. Yesterday I thought I'm feeling kind of lonely for my puppies, and I don't even have them yet. So that's not good because I'm not bringing them home for probably another 5 weeks. But I am ready for my little guys. I'm not. I haven't shopped at all. So that's a huge problem because they're going to need some little sweaters, right? They're going to need tiny little harnesses and leashes. They're going to need their own little crate and bed for when we're not home. Oh, my Lord. Maybe that's what I should do with the rest of my day. Just kidding. I have a lot of work to do. But still, maybe that's where I need to put my energy now is just shopping for the wee babes. Probably. All right, I put up a link to Luminous. This, of course, is the magazine that I publish every Tuesday. You probably already received it if you subscribe. But if you don't, I put a link in the chat room and I thought we could just take a little look at it together. Right, Trish, you know all about it. Little chihuahuas are the best. Yep, I'm so excited. I hope Rico's not going to be mad. We've discussed it at length. He goes from excited to not. But I think he's going to have a lot of fun with them. It's a long time to wait, isn't it? Since I already had been talking to the breeder before the puppies were born, it feels like a long time. It's like finding out you're pregnant at like 4 weeks, you know? It would almost be better to find out at like 4 months. You'd have a lot less time to stew over it and fuss and fiddle and talk and all of that stuff. Okay. I'm going to pull up the shared screen here so that we can take a look. Sid said they're probably so tiny you'll have to buy guinea pig sweaters. When we got Rico, and Rico was so tiny. When we got Rico, he only weighed 8 ounces and he was 10 weeks old. So little. And he'd had a rough start too, but he was so little that we bought toddler socks and just cut holes for his legs, for his front legs. Toddler socks. Consider how tiny that is. And that's what he wore. His aunts loved him so much that they all bought him cute, fancy toddler socks wherever they went. And he had quite the selection of toddler sock sweaters. But that was what he had to wear at first because he was so freaking tiny. I mean, he still wears an extra small if he wears a sweater, which he doesn't, because if you put a sweater on Rico, he becomes paralyzed and just kind of flattens himself to the floor and just lays there. Yeah, you can't even poach him with a treat or anything. If he's in a sweater, he can't walk, he can't move, which is unfortunate for him living in Idaho in the winter, but he won't wear a sweater. My sister's dogs all wear sweaters. You see them wearing sweaters all the time, and they like them. Kara's Chihuahua wears jammies that have back legs, and he's adorable in them. And my dogs, well, Blue loves to wear a t-shirt. That's my Basset Corgi mix, and she loves to wear a t-shirt. When you put, but we put like toddler t-shirts on her. When you put a t-shirt on her, she goes crazy, running around this house like she's the coolest thing that's ever happened, barking and flipping around and showing off. She loves it. But not Rico. Yes. Rico was hamster sized, Sid. He was. The way we got Rico was such an interesting moment. We were driving home from Boise. We'd been at a Boise State football game. And Scott's husband, or Scott is the husband, Scott's cousin had posted on Facebook, somebody better come get this puppy before my kids kill it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And as it turned out, they had bought a Chihuahua puppy for their kids, and he was much too small for the age of their kids. And they had a Chihuahua, so they felt like their kids would be, okay and be gentle with him. But the 2-year-old was anything but, and had removed him from his cage and dropped him on the floor, and he had a seizure. And she was truly worried that they had to get him out of that house. So I had just showed Scott this and said, "Oh my goodness, look at this tiny puppy." And he said, "You know what? Tell her we can be there in an hour and a half because we weren't far from her house on that drive home." He said, "Just tell her we'll be there and we'll either keep him or we'll find him a good home." But he said, let's not see that happen at that house." And she wasn't a bad dog owner, don't get me wrong, not at all. She's a wonderful person. She just it was a bad fit. And so we met her in town to get the puppy. And when she got out of the car, she was not holding a puppy. And I was like, huh. And then she walked up closer to us and she had him in her cleavage, right in the front of her shirt. And this little tiny head was peeking out. And I was dumbfounded. I had no idea he was that tiny. But, pictures on Facebook don't do scale justice. And so I had no idea he would be that little, but he was unbelievably tiny. So we loaded him up in the car, and Skippy was so pissed about it that he wouldn't look at me and he wouldn't look at the puppy either. And we were only in the car for about 20 minutes, and Rico peed clear down the front of me. So, there was that. But it's probably fine. But, by the time we drove the additional hour and a half home, the decision was made. We're keeping this little guy. And he did well. She had had him at the vet twice because for the seizure, but also because he'd had some low blood sugar incidents. And so she sent us home with some special stuff for him to lick to help with his blood pressure or blood sugar, not pressure, blood sugar, and to, because he'd had some stuff. He didn't have a single problem with us, but I think it was just a different setup, less stress. My kids were older. But he spent the first like year of his life in Scott's hoodie pocket. He was so little. He'd hang out in Scott's hoodie and stay warm, and every once in a while you'd see his little head peek out. And even when he was full grown, he'd jump up on the back of the couch and Scott would hold open his hoodie and he would jump inside. And he doesn't do that anymore, but he went from this tiny guy to a tiny guy on stilts. Since he's a deer chihuahua, he grew these long legs but stayed really teeny everywhere else. And so the long legs got a little bit harder to navigate in the hoodie pocket. But we had never had a deer chihuahua before. I'd had appleheads a couple of times, but I had never had a deer. And when he was like 4 or 5 months old, his hair started falling out like bald patches. It was bizarre, like one whole side of his head. He looked crazy. And it all happened in the course of like 2 days. Suddenly, this little boy's hair's all falling out. And I was ready to go take him to the vet. I'm like, my gosh, something's wrong. I was just getting ready to call the vet when I thought, what if I asked Google first? So I did. And I learned something. Deer Chihuahuas don't have an undercoat. They're like one of very few breeds that don't have some kind of undercoat, but they have none. So when they lose their puppy hair and they put in their big kid hair, they literally just kind of go bald in the process. And the article that I read was written by a vet, and it was basically that they are totally entertained every time somebody comes in there with you know, with the deer chihuahua puppy that's going bald and they think there's something wrong with them. And actually, there's nothing wrong at all. So I was glad I saved myself the humiliation. Hey, Natasha, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, saved from the humiliation of going to the vet for nothing and, whatever that cost would have been, which, as you know, would be astronomical. Anyway, so I'll know this time when these two, they call it going through the puppy uglies. We called it the puppy fuglies, because we're extra like that. But anyway, this time we'll know when the little boys start going through the puppy fuglies, we'll know why. No frantic trip to the vet. Anyway, let's take a look at the magazine. Okay. I called the magazine this week the It's Not About Me edition. Why? Well, because it's not. And this is one of those weeks, and when you read Bitch Scopes, Kelly has laid it out beautifully, but this is one of those weeks where we're going to see hot tempers, big opinions, and people getting hurt, getting their feelings hurt, getting wrapped up in stupid stuff. We are just prone to it this week. We're prime for it. And so, and I think it might have started with the slap heard around the world on Sunday night. But not to mention, the other hot button topics right now, which, you know, are the huge, right? We're talking about politics, we're talking about Ukraine, we're talking about gas prices, we're talking about, the slap and so many other things. But people are just feeling pretty done. Don't be surprised if you receive a little bit of abrupt treatment this week or even aggressive confrontational treatment, but it ain't about you. It's not. When people choose to lash out at you, that's about them. That's about the frustration they are feeling or the lack of power they are feeling, uh, and a million other things. So do your best to stay out of the fray. Or if you do jump into the fray, just also do your best to just take care of you. Because ultimately, we are going to see some wilding this week. It's going to happen. You guys don't need it. You don't deserve it. But I suspect that we're going to see some behaviors coming out in people these days. Yep. Oh, Sharon, I'll bet. I'll bet he is part deer Chihuahua. He looks a lot like my little Rico. How much does he weigh? I mean, weights in Chihuahuas vary a lot, but I'm always curious. Okay, so anyway, there you go. It's not about me. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk about it more too because my musings this week are the four agreements. Now, it's true, I have introduced the four agreements on this show lots of times. This is not new information for most of you, but I'm going to run through it anyway because I think it's a great reminder, especially when we're having weeks like this where things feel a little bit too prickly and a little bit too personal. Yeah. Belle said that her little guy is a big ball of grr. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty prone this week, unfortunately. So let's talk about it. The four agreements are based on Toltec Wisdom by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a book. He has quite a few books now, but this was really his first big writing. And I think that for empaths, the four agreements are literally words to live by. So, A, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Just think before you speak. Don't do your best. We all say things. There's no shame there, but do all you can to not regret what came out of your mouth, to just, feel good about what you said and stand behind it. Don't make assumptions. This is a huge one for empaths because you feel something off of somebody and you're so quick to blame yourself and assume that that person is feeling that way because of you in some way, right? That they're angry because you did or said something, or they're hurt because you did or said something, or whatever. And then you match energies, and like so many misunderstandings happen this way because of making assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. And truly, you can. But you have to be brave enough to ask and have conversations. Conversations like that are best posed as I language. I feel like you are upset. Is there anything I need to know? Can I do anything? Is there anything that I have done or said that has upset you? If you're worried about it, ask. Don't stew in it. Don't assume. Don't go home that night still worried about and hashing out every single interaction with this person, wondering what the hell you did. Ask. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to discover it has nothing to do with you anyway. But use great communication. Dare to ask. Dare to communicate. But also dare to communicate when you have been hurt, dare to say, when you blah, 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 or said this or that, I felt hurt. And I want you to know that that really bothered me. We don't do that. We don't do it. And sometimes that needs to be said. Again, you can transform your life with using better communication and not making assumptions. Don't take anything personally. This is the biggest deal. We are all born with an ego. It is a part of your personality that is meant to keep you safe, right? That ego tells you not to repeat danger. If you touch the stove once and it's hot and you get burned, your ego is going to make a note and say, okay, we're not doing that again. And the next time you get near a hot stove, your ego will start yelling at you to get the hell away, right? Your ego knows. But sometimes your ego runs a little wild, and that's human nature. We all do it. But your ego will go into overdrive trying to keep you safe, driving you to a place of taking things much too personally or making things about you that are truly not about you. And we all do it. But again, if you can get away from that and realize that what someone else is doing, how someone else is acting, is about them, it's not about you, mm, that changes a lot. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. It's a huge one, huge one. And it takes a lot of practice. But not taking things personally, again, is transformational. And then, of course, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse and regret. And I think it's really important to recognize that. Some days your best might be hitting it out of the park. Other days your best might be getting out of your jammies, or taking a shower and putting on clean jammies or whatever. But don't hold yourself to such a high standard that you make you miserable and that you are the person that's judging you and dragging you down. But by the same token, go all in. When you have things to do and things you want to do, give yourself the opportunity to really thrive. You honestly have every right to get to do that for yourself. Do as good of a job for yourself as you would do for somebody else. Okay, moving on to bitch scopes. So, Kelly says words matter this week. We have a sensitive week up and coming. She has a great article here. Um, I'm going to just, let's just read a scope, actually. How's about Libra? Taking a more conservative approach will benefit you in big ways down the road. This might refer to a number of things, but money is still a big theme for you and will continue to be for a while. Things should be stabilizing. The new moon in your seventh house will help that stability as it will either bring new relationship opportunities or a leveling up of the one you are in currently. The future looks bright. Just keep your chill for a bit longer. Seems possible. Be sure you check out your scope. Always really good wisdom from Miss Kelly. My tip of the week is about plants. I hear from a lot of you guys that you feel like you have a black thumb, you can't make anything grow. But the truth is, having plants in your house is an amazing way to feel connected to the earth. A lot of plants are natural air purifiers. There's just a vibe with having plants, not dead ones. That just makes you feel like shit. But so I pulled an infographic and then I added to it which plants are toxic to cats because obviously, if you have cats, you've got to be really careful about what you grow and where you put it in case your cats decide to get into it. So, to make this a little bit more useful, I put a listing there about whether they're toxic to cats or not. So, if you don't have cats, don't worry about it. But and I'm going to be clear here. I don't know of a plant that's toxic to pigs, at least not any I have, because they have sampled literally all of them and seem to be, well, still pigs. So, but these are 5 indoor plants for beginners. If you're somebody who thinks that you cannot keep plants alive, try one of these guys. You may be surprised. These guys are all hard to kill. They endure low light settings. They're good options for bedrooms, bathrooms, Or if you're like me, I have quite a few places in my house that doesn't get very much light. So the snake plant, and snake plants can get really big and they are very cool. They are toxic to cats, but without a cat, consider a snake plant. They are neat plants. And again, they can put in a big enough pot, they can get huge and be a really nice addition to your room or to your plants. Spider plant. Spider plants are safe for cats, and they're the only one on my list that actually are. But spider plants are so freaking cool. You cannot kill a spider plant. Recently, my daughter sent home a spider plant for me for Valentine's Day and this cute little VW bus planter because I love VW buses. And it stayed at my sister's house. She brought it home with her after a trip to Boise, and it stayed at her house for a few weeks before Valentine's Day. And she told me, I am so sorry, but Matt gave you a plant for Valentine's Day, and my cats ate it down to the nubs. No problem. I said, that's okay. I can just replace it. No worries. When I got it from her, there was just one little spike, one little leaf sticking up. And now that spider plant is going crazy. Her cats did not kill it. Spider plants are crazy that way. They are almost impossible to kill. They also have babies, tons of babies, that you can then share with other people or repot and have more spider plants. But if you think you suck at pots or at plants, go for a spider plant. You will be amazed. English ivy. And I personally think the ivy is beautiful. Do you ever see ivy planted in baskets with handles and it goes up all around that? Or that have like the little tiny, like white fence trellis, inside of the pot? They're beautiful. And they are toxic to cats again, but ivies are really easy to grow and really tough to kill. Aloe vera. I did not know aloe vera was toxic to cats. I knew some of the rest of these were, but apparently aloe vera is like top of the list bad for cats. So just FYI. But aloe vera is easy to grow. You hardly ever water it. They like to be in a compact pot, so you don't repot them very often, and they do amazingly well. And the peace lily. Peace lilies are one of my favorites. They are beautiful. They are lucky. They are a natural air purifier. They are toxic to cats. For God's sake. But anyway, peace lilies will tell you when they need to be watered, and you'll think you killed it. You'll just wake up one morning and your peace lily will be completely wilted, tipped over. They're crazy dramatic. And you'll go, oh my God, I've killed the peace lily. And you put it in the sink. You fill it up with water and let it drain out good in the sink. And within a few hours, your peace lily will be back to standing up tall and proud and beautiful. They are just like that. The only problem with peace lilies is that they get a little heavy. They're susceptible to too much salt in hard waters in your water, particularly salt or sodium. And so you do have to rinse their soil out every so often, but you just do that in the sink. Let the water run through the soil for a while, just and draining down through the sink to just rinse all the extra sodium and stuff out. And you'll know if the leaves start yellowing that that's your problem. But I love peace lilies for all of those reasons. But I also love how dramatic they are. It's actually pretty hilarious. So there you go. If you think you cannot grow plants and be successful, maybe you can. And of course, talk to them, sing to them, put crystals around them, play your singing bowls for them. They love that. You can do this. Okay, lots more in Luminous, but I think that's all we have time for today in Luminous. So hopefully you find a few things in there that are good words of wisdom for you. And we better move on because I had several things I wanted to do with you guys today. So I think we're going to do some heart clearing first. So I brought my heart bowl along for the ride. So I'm going to play the bowl We're going to go through it twice. The first time I play it, I just want you to allow the singing bowl to clear anything out of your heart, out of your chest. And Karen, I noticed your question, and I'm so glad that this was actually my plan today, and maybe it was for you, ma'am. Yeah, but we are so just hold space that we allow this to clear anything out in your heart space that you don't need there. Any heaviness, any illness, any psychic debris, anything that belongs to other people, any grief, whatever. Let's just clear hearts first. So we'll do that first and then we'll move on. Okay, so now I'm going to play it one more time. This time I would allow you, or I would ask you to envision a pink light emanating from your heart, growing larger and larger until it envelops your entire being, surrounding you in self love. Okay, perfect. Very good heart work. Okay, but that's not all. I had a little more vibrational therapy that I wanted to do as soon as I drink more tea. I brought a drum I rarely use on this show, but she really spoke to me this morning. So, this is the balance drum. This drum came from Mexico. I had a friend there that was studying with Mayan elders, and they had, uh, pardon me, they had made this drum out of an animal that was hit by a car in their village. And he felt really strongly that I needed to have one of these drums. They made three. They weren't all balanced. This was the balance drum, and I had the opportunity to purchase it and help support their villages and also have this drum, which I did. And she's really special. I don't get her out and play her very often because she's a little bit fragile. There's some spots that I'm a little concerned about, so I don't go crazy with her and I won't hit her very hard. But apparently, we needed the balance drum today, so we're going to drum for balance in our lives and in the world. So all you have to do is relax and breathe with the drum and hold space for balance. And if you'd like to add peace to that or as a part of balance, please do. And there we go. For balance. The longer I have that drum, the more some of the fur is coming out. So I try not to bother it too much. However, it's a really, really special drum. And we needed it today. So there we go. Yep. Good, Sid. I'm so glad. Yeah. So I think what I would like to do is go ahead and do our bibliomancy from Kathleen's book now, so that then I can leave the whole rest of the show open for readings. So that's my intention. That way we really know exactly how much time we have and we can hopefully cover a fair amount of ground. All right. So here's Kathleen's book, and we will, per always, just ask, what do we need to know this week? And we're going to thumb it open and find out. Okay, I've gone all the way through it twice. Okay. Maitreya. I am often called the laughing Buddha. I am always depicted as the laughing Buddha. I share my laughter with the world. Picture me and rub my belly for luck and laughter. I speak today to tell you it is time to spend the day in joy and laughter. Lay aside your worries and cares for today and spend time laughing and enjoying yourselves. As you know, laughter brings you closer to spirit. It increases your vibration, and when you laugh, you breathe in the all. Share your laughter, share your smiles, and share your love of life today with everyone. Look around you at the glory that is there. Spend time around little children and listen to them laugh from the depths of their souls. They do this because they operate in the now. When you laugh, you are truly present in the moment. When you laugh, you share with others a lightness that expands to fill the room. Laughter can bring release from worries and stress. It helps your heart and your mind. It can truly heal you. Laughter is a joyous sound and it is contagious. Take today and share your laughter and your light. Take time to share a joke or a smile and brighten, even for a minute, your day and the day of someone else's. Laugh, sing, hum, or just smile and lighten your day. I send you laughter and joy. Picture me and my round belly laughing. Rub my belly in your imagination, and I will share my laughter with you. Enjoy the day. There you go. So thank you, Kathleen, and thank you, Maedra. Or Maitreya. I think it's Maitreya. Okay. All righty. So let's take a look in the chat. Sid said, would you please ask Patchouli Pup if she feels like her sniffing slash smell has increased, that it is starting to open up, and if she will say if there is something physical or emotional that keeps her from barking like a typical dog. Okay, well, let's feel into her. The sinuses seem significantly better, Sid. Some of that pain and pressure that she had going up through her sinus cavity is gone. I feel like she is smelling better and tasting better as well. Yeah. Now let's ask her about the barking. There was a time when barking would get you punished for her. I wonder if she wore a shock collar for barking for a while, because there is some fear around barking, or some kind of other kind of punitive action, because there is fear for her around that. So, and I don't even think she recognizes it as fear. It's more of a, like a serious, like a big time block. So I'm just showing her that it's safe to use her voice at your house. that if in a moment she feels like she needs to bark, that she should, and that that's okay. You would support that and be happy to hear her voice. Good. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. She's really her throat's very shut down. Yeah. Okay. And I will get to the other chat, I promise, guys. Yeah. Okay, Jacqueline, may I have a reading around my health and well-being? You betcha. The first thing I'm hearing, Jacqueline, is communication with doctor needed. I feel like there will be a bump or two in the road this year and maybe some adjustments in care. I think mostly we're talking about the thyroid situation and maybe something else too. Overall, I feel like everything's okay, but that there are going to have to be some potential adjustments in care to get you to that point. But yeah, it does feel like we're not quite there yet. Yeah, I'm sorry, darn it. Also, don't hesitate to get a second opinion if you feel like you're just not quite getting to the place that you need to be. And I know where you live, that's probably a big ask, but I wonder if you need to get a second opinion on your health stuff just to make sure that everything's in alignment. Yeah. Jessica said, I make bead jewelry for enjoyment. I've been thinking of selling it. Do you think that this is something that I should do? Will it be successful for me? Jessica, I believe that you should. What I'm seeing is, obviously, some kind of an online venue is always a good place to go. But I also see a in-person venue, perhaps like, oh, sometimes you find that like the craft stores where you just you rent a little bit of space just for your stuff and, like an antique mall kind of, or some other kind of gifty shop that may be interested in buying your stuff or putting it on consignment. I feel like there's a few options there for you and that yeah, you could make a little extra money doing it and that it would be successful. It would be fun to just to see it be successful. So, yeah, there's definitely options there for you. Kathleen said my sister's or Kathleen. Maureen said, "Hey Maureen, her sister is adopting a 5-year-old red lab, Foxy. She's retired from our breeder and only had 2 litters. My sister's excited since her chocolate lab Callie passed in November. That's right. Will Foxy love my sister and also love being a Jersey Beach pup? Let's feel into Foxy. They're going to do really well together. I do feel like it's going to take a little bit of time for them to really fully bond. Kathleen's going to have to be a little bit patient with Foxy on that front. I feel like she can feel kind of aloof and it'll take a little bit of time for that ice to melt and they really bond to each other. But then I feel like they're going to be great together and she will seriously love being a beach pup. That's going to work out really well for her. But yeah, there's a there's a little bit of a wall there. It's Foxy's a good dog. She needs a minute to really fully ground in. But then yes, this is a good match. Okay, jumping back into the other chat room. I know I had a couple of questions here. Norella said she went to a horse healer yesterday and feels residual leftovers. You saw a horse healer? I mean, I know some horse healers, they're amazing, but they worked on you? I'm assuming that means? Yeah, let's clear your aura. I think that the job was almost done. And probably the vibrational work we already did today made a big difference, but let's clear your aura anyway, Norella, and just be sure. So here's what I'm seeing in your aura. It's not yours. You've just got some energetic debris that's you've picked up from other people that didn't quite get lifted. So that should make a nice difference. And then let's just wrap you up in some nice light. Yep, that looks and feels amazing. Good deal. Okay, Tiffany. Tiffany said, if you feel drawn, I would love some insight on whether my recent lung CT scan that showed significant progression since 10 months ago is related to the same bacteria that's been haunting me for many years, or this is something new. I'm already set up to see doctors and have been doing sputum samples and blood tests. Just looking for some insight since I can often help push my doctors towards what they might not be thinking of. No, let's take a peek, babe. Well, and I'm sorry to hear that. I think it is the MAC bacteria. I feel like it is more of the same, just a little bit more advanced and not really responding to anything. So I'm glad you've got appointments set up and some good tests going and stuff here. I feel like there'll be some good help for you here. I don't feel like this is like really horrible news, but definitely has to be addressed. So good on you for being proactive for sure. Okay. Let's see. Pamela could use some clearing right now. I'm hoping the work that we already did, Pamela, made a good difference, but I am going to clear your aura too, just like I did for Norella. Yeah, it's twofold for you, sweet. It is work and family. I mean, I know that's probably typical of everybody in some capacity, but this is pretty specific. Brother stuff and mm, petty coworker stuff is kind of weighing you down. So I'm just clearing you out, lifting up that aura off of you, that kind of debris that you were packing. Because I think also you've been feeling kind of low energy and wondering if this is actually physical or energetic. I think it really is energetic. But, when you have a chronic illness, any extra reason to be weighed down and feel shitty is very relevant because it really affects you. Yeah. Okay. Karen, I'm hoping that the work that we already did was for you. So this is good. Okay. So Shireen said for Whitney, for her other dog, they're recommending gabapentin, B12, and thyroid meds. Would they be beneficial? Yeah, all three. Just as you know, with GABA, that hits hard, and so make sure they start on an extremely low dose with that and work up, because that's gonna really zonk her out a lot, but I feel like all 3 of them are gonna make a big difference. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Tiffany said MAC requires 12 to 18 months of treatment with 3 antibiotics. Not sure if they will require me to start. I think they will, babe. I feel like they're gonna want you to start a series, pretty soon, and but I also kinda feel like they might have better, drugs than they've had in the past, and, or at least, more honed in drugs that might make a bigger difference faster, if that makes a difference. So, yeah, I feel like you're probably gonna be doing that, series of treatment, but that this is good. Yeah. I'm sorry, though. It sucks. Okay. All right. Really quick, Lillian, anything on my home situation? Oh, sweet. I know that's really weighing you down. Let me ask. Okay. I know this is like a broken record because I feel like every time I ask, this is the same answer. But again, they're saying to network the hell out of it. Make sure that all of your friends know that you're looking and are thinking about you as they have situations or things come up, I still feel like something's going to click through a friend who has a contact, or, who, very specifically sees a situation that they could help you into, that's going to, you know, alleviate yours. So it still comes up for me that this is somebody that, that's going to set you up here, see the right thing. So that's still what comes up. Yeah, but I'm going to keep holding space for you, that happens soon, so that you can feel secure in what's going on, because I know this has sucked in so many ways. All righty, you guys. Well, you know how it goes. We have definitely talked down to the end of the show. So stay tuned for Sounds Like Lisa. By the way, Scott and I's second episode of our new show was yesterday morning. You can find it in the archives. It is Good News Only with Scott and Katie. And it's a show of only good news. It's a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Trish. Thanks, you guys, so much for being here. Please take good care of yourselves. You so deserve it. You know it. I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. You can find me over there literally every day. So come give me a call if I can help. You have been listening to The Katie Weaver Show on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.